This is episode 13, right?
I don't fucking know. Yes, right? Sure.
Sure. We're
Lucky
going to
number
go.
13.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 13 of To the Window. Today is Tuesday, April 7th, 2026. My name is Chris. This is your DJ and gambling expert, Jemiah. Jemiah, what's going on, brother?
What's happening, fellas? Plenty of action on the board today, even though the Natty's over and everybody, all the sharp, wise guy bettors and risk managers at all the sports book are taking a big sigh of relief. We plow ahead because there's money to be made, even if all the major sports are chilling. Baseball is a grind. So we're going to keep grinding and get to this money.
There we go. Good stuff. Well, on today's show, we will hit things off. I'm going to do a little bit of a deep dive. We're recording a little bit earlier than usual on Tuesday because I want to get some bets to the window for the Champions League action, which is kicking off at 3 p.m. Eastern. So we're going to start the show by talking a little bit about that. Jemiah's going to recap the absolutely wonderful national championship game that took place last night. And we'll talk a little bit about the bets we have going on this week. We'll allude a little bit to our Masters coverage as well, which is going to come to you later this week. And that's pretty much it. So before we even get going, I want to remind all of you guys to like, subscribe, share, comment. Please engage with Jemiah. Please engage with Chris. We are here not just to do this for shits and giggles. We're trying to put some money in your pocket and ours. And we can only do that by helping one another get to the window. So
click the button, tell your mama, tell your friends, tell somebody you know, please and thank you. We are almost to 80 subscribers. Let's get to 100, please.
I would love to be at 100 by the time we hit May 1st, if not sooner. So let's find a way to get that done. And if you got to help your mama set up a YouTube account so she can like the video, you know she's going to do it. Your mama's not going to let you down. So if we got to get moms involved, let's do it. And let's make sure we have that happen by Mother's Day. So
that's fucked up. I've forgotten that. I got to send this to my mom. Jesus. How long we've been doing this? Since February?
I don't want my mother to watch this. I would have to explain way too much to her. So it's, but to Jemiah's mom, by all means, like, subscribe, comment, do all that stuff. We love you. Hell, get your dad on there, get your granddaddy on there, get the whole damn family on there. That's, you know.
I'm going to send it to my mom just to confuse her. She's not going to know what the fuck we're talking about. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then actually, I've just come full circle. I will do the same thing.
Send it to your mom to confuse her. Yeah. Like she
won't have any idea. Like, when did you become a tall black man with a suspect haircut? That's fucked up. I just saw her over the weekend. But anyway.
My hair is great. I don't care what anyone says. I can kiss my black ass. I love my fucking hair.
I love what I got on 75% of my head. Anyway, very quick comment as well for everybody watching this. It's a very special week around here. And I know we're going to talk about it in a separate video. Jemiah's going to record some stuff later. But I just want to wish everybody, and I feel like I should do this in a slightly more hushed tone, happy Masters Week. Because you know what this means for most people? This isn't just golf. This isn't just, and we live in Atlanta, where this is a big fucking deal. Like, this is a core part of our culture. I feel like 1 out of every 3 dudes owns a Augusta National polo. Might be the only person left in the city who hasn't been to Augusta National. But I say this, the reason this has always been one of my favorite weeks of the year, Jemiah, this does not apply to your profession. But for those of us who work in a corporate environment, the fact that Augusta National does not allow cell phones on that golf course means that Augusta National is not just the gift that keeps on giving for people who are fans of the Masters, but for all those corporate schmucks who are going to go down there and take their clients and bang their secretaries for the next 5 to 6 days while they're off the grid. For everybody at their day job, you know what they're not doing? Hearing from any of those people. So this is not only a beautiful golf tournament, for all of us in the corporate world, it is a respite. It is a reprieve. It is truly spring. Spring has sprung. That boss you hate is gone out of pocket, and he sure as hell isn't thinking about you. So I love Augusta.
Just for this week.
Just for this week. The bullshit will be back on probably Tuesday. They're all going to be too hungover on Monday. But for now, whether you care about golf or not, the sun is shining. The birds are singing. Enjoy this beautiful tournament. Enjoy not hearing from people you hate. It is truly a wonderful time. And I just wanted to put that comment out there because there's a lot of people feeling the same way I am this morning.
I will say this, listening to one of my idols, Mr. Krackenberger, Bill Krackenberger, he, if you've got the right amount of money, there are places you can go and have your cell phone and not eat the $2 overrated in their words, the overrated pimento cheese sandwiches and things of that nature. If you've got the financial wherewithal to do that, there are workarounds. But I feel like the people with the money for the workarounds usually aren't assholes.
Yeah.
Like people out there for the first time, they're like, "What? I can't have my cell phone." No, you can't have your fucking cell phone, dude. This is goddamn it's fucking holy ground, man. Show some
Yeah.
fucking respect. Like Jesus, people, chads.
Yes, I've heard similar things about similar places at Augusta. Can neither confirm nor deny. I do trust those people and their stories, but admittedly, could be slightly embellished, but I have no doubt such places exist. But either way, a wonderful week. I'm excited for the par three tomorrow. I don't know shit about the field. Thankfully, Jemiah is going to sit in
Oh
the far.
wait, nope, nope. I don't know shit.
I don't know shit. I know there's gonna be a
Look,
bunch
I
of
know.
people.
Hang on. Goddamn. I was listening to somebody this fucking morning. They said maybe Roy to repeat on John Rahm is who the sharp guys are on, and big time money's coming in on our friend Pete from Miami, his buddy, his favorite golfer right now, who is of Caucasian descent, Ludwig Alberg. Big time wise guy money coming in on him at 16-1. Big time money coming in. So it's worth a look.
I will do some homework on that. Jemiah will have more coming from our resident golf expert, Mr.
Expert my ass.
Just a guy who knows more than we do. So,
I mean, he's a great golfer. Shit for handicapping. He's got to do better. I'll let him know tonight when I do the interview. Fucker.
Combative way to get right into the Masters. So
we fucked up our units in March, man. We would only been down 5 units. Instead, we were down almost double digits because of his shit golf picks.
Well, that's really cool that he decided to pay for our tickets to Vegas for his bachelor party. So shout out to Rowdy. Really appreciate you coming through in the clutch there. You cost us some money, but you're coming through in the long run. So
he's a giver.
I said it on the internet. It's totally true. So
yes. Champions League, eh?
The champions. Let's go. All right. Segment 1. We're going to get right into it. We've got 2 games happening today on Tuesday, April 7th, 2 happening on April 8th. Obviously, the reason Jemiah wants me to stop talking about golf and get into this is so we can get these picks and our recommendations and projections to the window. The one that's probably the most salivating of any of the 4 that are happening in the first leg of 2. The second fixtures will be next week. Which will take us then to the semifinals. But our quarterfinal matchup, that is the sexiest on paper of the 4, Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. And this is actually the most played fixture in UEFA Champions League history. And the last 9 times these teams have played in the Champions League, Madrid has won 7, drawn 2. So some very interesting history there. Yeah. I mean, again,
there's a trend. Shit.
You do not play with Real Madrid when it comes to playing in Europe. But the fascinating thing about this, like Bayern's been smacking people around as well. So you got 2 teams coming in and some great form there. The interesting thing for me is going to be as much how many goals are going to be scored, because I think this game's going to have goals. Both of these teams have scored over 3 goals in their last 3 matches, I believe, in the Champions
League.
Totals
at 3.5, 4.
Okay, we'll come back to it. But the fascinating thing here is going to be there's crazy injuries and yellow card risk on both sides here. So Real Madrid's going to be without their starting goalie, Thibaut Courtois. They're down Rodrigo. Jude Bellingham is doubtful. You've got a couple of other guys starting on defense, names like Militao. You know, he's somebody who they're keeping an eye on. Bayern Munich may not have Harry Kane. We're not going to know until by the time this video goes live if their starting striker is out there. They do have some guys coming back from suspension, which should be helpful for them. But the fascinating thing to keep an eye on in this fixture is going to be, because again, first of 2, this first leg is at the Bernabeu in Madrid. You have 6 guys who are pretty much guaranteed starters for Real Madrid who are on yellow card accumulation. So if they pick up 1 yellow card in this matchup, that means they're out for the second leg in Bayern. And those names include Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., Jude Bellingham, Tchouameni, Huijsen, and Carreras. I'm not going to try to pronounce the last 3's first name.
God bless you.
Yeah, Gesundheit to me. But you're talking about like the guys who like they are the drink and the straw that stirs it over there at Real Madrid. So when you like a number of 3.5, that number is up from 2.5 that I saw yesterday. I'll be curious to hear from you in a second what those odds are. I think the play for this first leg, because of you don't know who's going to be starting up front for Bayern Munich. You have no clue. I don't know anything about Real Madrid's backup goalkeeper. Obviously, assume the guy's talented if he's a backup at Madrid, but lots of guys who might be getting away with some risky challenges in the first half. But I think the second half of that game is going to be real tight. So My interesting play on this one, because we saw plus money coming in for both teams beforehand, regardless of where the match is being played. I think this one is going to be a cagey, not as open affair as we're used to because of the yellow card risk, because of guys coming off of injury. I am taking a draw at the Bernabeu. Munich has not won in the last 9. They've drawn twice. If they're going to get a first win, it's going to happen at home. It's not going to happen in Madrid. So I'm going to say the play for this is a draw, and we're going to go under 3.5 goals. So, GM, I'm curious to see, because we were talking right before we started filming, odds have shifted like crazy in the last 24 hours. What are you seeing as far as odds on our goal over under? And what are we seeing for a draw right now?
1 second. The draw is at 3-1. It's plus 300.
Okay.
Let me see. Sorry, I had it there and lost it. I was putting in the under 3.5, 4. Hang on, alt lines. There we go. Under 3.5 is plus 108. You can get under 4 at minus 148. So you're better off playing the under 3.5 at plus money.
Yeah, I think that's our play here. So I could
The
see
draw and the under.
Yeah,
they're both plus money. So if one hit, if we end up splitting, you make a little bit.
There we go. That's our move. That's the recommendation on that one. So
cool.
We're going to take that one to the window once we finish up the pod. The other match that is happening today, not as interesting, admittedly, Sporting Lisbon versus Arsenal. This match is in Lisbon this afternoon at 3:00. Arsenal's got some injuries and everything, and they've had some hiccups recently. They just got knocked out of the FA Cup, actually, by Southampton over the weekend. They lost to Man City in the Carabao Cup final. They should dog walk their way, or not dog walk, but they should cakewalk their way to the Premier League at this point. But what looked like them winning 4 trophies, if you're an Arsenal fan, you're increasingly a little bit nervous now about how deep is this run going to go? Can we win the Champions League and the Premier League? I see this as today, for me, the most interesting thing in this match is not who's going to play for Arsenal or even who's going to score. Arsenal has literally never lost to Sporting Lisbon. The last time they played them, Arsenal won 5-1, and that was in Lisbon. That was almost a year and a half ago. You can talk about home crowd effect, all that stuff. If our number, whatever our goal number is here, I think could be interesting, but I also see both teams to score is really interesting to me. And if you can find a way to get Arsenal at even remotely decent odds, I think you got to do it. But I could also see them again. I could see them waiting, as they have recently. I could see them waiting for a late goal to get a win. Sporting will come out hot. The crowd will back them because they know that they'll have to. But yeah, I can see both teams scoring and ultimately an Arsenal win.
All right. They got the over-under set at 2.5 on this one. I'm looking for both teams to score.
I don't hate the over at 2.5.
Yeah, it's juiced to the under, weirdly. I don't. Where are you?
Jesus. That's got to be a bit of recency bias just based on what happened.
Yeah, both teams to score is only minus 125.
Okay. Yeah, then
you tell me this is not my lane.
This is, now that we're talking through the odds.
Hang on, let me see. Let me pull up where the money's coming in at on Arsenal Sporting Lisbon. Shall we do Superbook? Pinnacle. We'll do Pinnacle. Let's see. Jesus Christ.
What are you seeing?
Opened minus 124 to Arsenal. Money's coming in on Sporting because it's dropped 15 cents against Arsenal. So it's Arsenal minus 111, Sporting plus 346. Hang on, let me check this square ass book. Yeah, Arsenal minus 117, Lisbon's plus 330. Over unders 2.5, juiced to the under. So that's what the books think's gonna happen. I've become a fan of your both teams to score play. I'm just, as someone who doesn't know what the fuck we're talking about.
Yeah, I think it's the only option here, and I think that
makes sense.
Yeah, everything else, the value add is not going to be, unless you're an Arsenal homer, then you're going to bet it just because you're going to bet it anyway. But yeah, both teams to score, I think, is your only play. And I think if you wanted to include it in a parlay with something else going on today, I wouldn't even necessarily tie it to Real and Bayern, but we'll hear what Jemiah's picks are going to be for today here in just a minute. Maybe you attach this result to that if you can at your book, but straight up, yeah, I agree. I don't see a lot of value there. So,
are you that confident in both teams as far to throw it in a parlay?
Sporting's done it at home in the last few matches, and I do think that there will be a bit of. I mean, Arsenal gave up a late goal. They lost 2-1 to Southampton over the weekend. I do think there will be a bit of like shaky legs, shell shock. Going to take a second for them to remember who they are. So, I'm not worried. Like Arsenal will score from a set piece. That's what Arsenal does. They are
Okay,
boring as hell to watch, but
gotcha.
they will do it. They will do it late. And I can see Sporting. They've got a very informed striker right now, ironically named Luis Suarez, name I'm very familiar with, but a dude who's balling, who's linked with all the clubs around Europe now. He was actually the backfill to Victor Gyökeres, who left Sporting to go to Arsenal. So, yeah, I can see some potential there. I think, honestly, you might even hit both teams to score in the first half. I could see the striker who left Sporting, who went to Arsenal, scoring, and his
Gotcha.
replacement, I could see him getting a goal too. It'll
I
be
can dig
interesting
it.
because the second leg will not be interesting when we go back to Arsenal. So, but we'll
Gotcha.
talk
And
about
this is
that.
and with this being the first leg, more. I don't want to say more action, but more. What's the word I'm looking for? More. People riskier, playing
Yeah,
riskier,
yeah,
playing with.
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
Like Sporting for the first 45 minutes, they should be going for it. Like they should have guys. I don't know what their system is or anything, but if you're at home and you got Portuguese folks who've been out there drinking all day, doing this, doing that, who are getting it in, and they
Hmm.
know they have to go for it. Because when you go to North London next week, they're not going to win that match. So it's really like honestly, if you're Arsenal, a draw today would be a great result for Sporting Lisbon just to give them a bit of hope for next week. But yeah, they got to go for it, dude. So the first half I think will actually be pretty wide open, and then I think it'll settle down a little bit. But we'll find out in 2.5 hours. So keeping it moving to the other two matches we have this week, I will talk about the rematch from this weekend first. I missed on this in La Liga, admittedly, because Barcelona did beat Atletico Madrid 1-0 over the weekend. But tomorrow, Wednesday, April 8th, we have Barcelona versus Atletico Madrid at the Camp Nou in the first leg of the Champions League. And again, you want to talk about just injuries on injuries on injuries in this one. I mean, Barcelona is down Rafinha, who's one of their best players on the wing. Everybody knows Lamine Yamal on the other side. He's out. He's going to be out for both legs. Looks like the entire midfield is almost out for Barcelona and Atletico Madrid. Madrid's also going to be out their starting goalie. Man, this is just a mess of a fixture. But the interesting thing to watch here for me is going to be Lamine Yamal, again, one of the best players in the world, also coming in on a yellow card risk. So there's a lot of guys who need to go for it in this first leg, but are going to have to feel the match out, see how it goes. Unless you get him on a breakaway, I think it might actually be a quiet match for him. There's actually 4 guys for Barcelona who are on a suspension risk. So for me, as I'm looking at this one going into it, since the match is at Camp Nou, like my head says Barcelona, but I know the odds aren't there. I don't think as a value play it's going to be worthwhile. I think the interesting thing to look at in this is going to be more individual goal scorers versus even the over under versus betting both teams to score. I think until these teams know what their roster is going to look like next week, like maybe it's the under just because you don't really know who's going to be lining up out there. But looking at who's going to be out for both teams, the only value I see is the starting strikers for both teams to potentially score. So if you can get Julian Alvarez over half on a goal assist or Robert Lewandowski on over half on a goal assist, I think those individual props are what you look at until you actually know who's going to be there for the second leg when they go back to Madrid. So didn't hit you with that in advance, but I think that's where
No, real quick. This is why I love Europe. I go to pull up the injury report, and after all those names you just listed, there's none. They're not listing anybody as injured.
yeah, okay, that's
They're
bullshit.
not. They're just like we're not telling you.
Yep. Yeah. Oh,
And
we're
that's
playing
pretty
one of our
dope. They
closest
got
rivals. Yeah. Everybody's
yeah they
good.
got
Everybody's healthy from Saturday.
yeah they got Lewandowski at -110 to score. Torres at even money to score. Yamal plus 105. Rooney. I'm not gonna try to pronounce his last name plus 130. Who's the other one you said?
I said Julian Alvarez and Lewandowski.
Alvarez is plus 260 to score a goal.
Bro, take that shit to the
Done.
window right now.
Done.
14 Champions League goals in his last 17 matches.
Yeah.
And fastest
Julian
goal.
Alvarez, right?
Yeah, Julian Alvarez, former Man
Yeah, he's
City.
plus 260 to score a goal. Yeah.
I'm betting that while we're recording. God damn it. So hadn't even looked on Underdog yet, was waiting until we got this done. But yeah, I'm taking that one to the window. And then I might throw a little bit on Lewandowski just because I think, again, he's tall enough. He can get them a goal from a corner as well. I don't expect this to be a very sexy matchup, which means, of course, it will be. But yeah, take Julian Alvarez to the window. History says.
I'm about to. I think I'm gonna throw in that under. You said under, right? Under, yeah, yeah. It opened. Yeah, all the money agrees with the under. I'm gonna throw that in there too for half unit, whatever.
Yeah. Nothing crazy.
And now your boys. I'm sure you're excited to talk about
Oh,
them.
how much time do you know what? We'll make it short and sweet. Liverpool at PSG. PSG, no confirmed major absences. Liverpool, it wouldn't matter anyway. You got 3 guys for Liverpool on a suspension risk for this leg. Real Madrid took out Liverpool in this tie last year. Liverpool also just got dog walked by Man City over the weekend. Literally, the away support left early, singing songs about Xabi Alonso, who's been rumored to be our next manager. Arne Slot, this is put up or shut up time, dude. This is the end of the road. If he does not get out of the Champions League, if he does not clinch a Champions League spot, which increasingly doesn't look likely, or find a way to win the Champions League, brother's out of here. And I was thinking about it last night when we were talking about the coaches at Denver, coaches at potentially in Orlando, where like you almost need to fire them because if they do too well, you're going to end up stuck with a guy you don't want there. That is what Liverpool has going on right now. That is a team that does not have any fucking clue what they are doing, not even just in a week by week or game by game basis, but in moments within the game. The players look lost. The supporters have started to completely turn on Liverpool to the surprise of absolute no one. As much as you would expect a bounce back, no, it's not going to happen. PSG is going to win this game. We're going over 2.5 goals. And if you're interested in a player prop, Hugo Ekitike, who's been Liverpool's best player all season up there with Dominic Szoboszlai, I love him to potentially get a goal. He's a former PSG player. I love the idea of him going back, getting one against the old club. You can never celebrate against the old club because that's the way that all that goes. But yeah, they're going to lose this like 3-1. The pitchforks are going to come out. And at some point between now or by my birthday in a few weeks, Arne Slot is going to be gone. It's going to be really hard to come back from what's going to happen between now and next week. So PSG to win over 2.5 goals. Take it to the window.
Goal scorers again, real quick, that you're confident in, because everyone on here is plus money.
Hugo Ekitike from Liverpool, and then if you've got one, I mean, for PSG, you've got your pick of guys, right? But Dembele has always been problematic for us. But actually, the guy, I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name, but there's a Georgian dude whose name starts with K. I know his name is on the list.
Kvaratskhelia?
Yeah, that one. So he always kills us. So if there's anybody that you would take from PSG, I would take him to score. And then from Liverpool, my boy Hugo. He might be the only light in a very dark tunnel, which is going to be this match.
Done and dusted. All right, that's 9 bets. We got locked in for 4 matches.
Rock and roll. So that's what we got for Champions
League. For listeners, viewers who are liking and subscribing to this video right now, clicking the thumbs up button because you're just being nice to us. These are going to be on Bovada, so they're not going to be in the app, but I will put a screenshot of all of these bets up at the end of this video so you can revisit it. It'll be time-stamped.
Sweet.
But all 9 bets, I'm going to run through them right quick if you're down for that.
Yeah, do it.
All right, so we got the draw at plus 300, Real Madrid, Bayern. We also have the under 3.5 at plus 102, Real and Bayern. Both teams to score, Sporting, Arsenal. Julian Alvarez for a goal at plus 260. Under 3.5, Barcelona Atletico. Over 3, Liverpool PSG. PSG to win. Hugo Ekitike at plus 210 to score a goal. And Vika, at plus 163 to score a goal. So those are the 9 we got. We're taken to the window as we speak.
Nailed it.
All right. 34. Let me do some quant math right quick. Got to nerd out and get this right. I'm just doing even units across all of these.
Rock and roll.
Equals. Cool. All right. I'll send you a screenshot of that later. Onward and upward. What is next?
You wanted to talk about that wonderful basketball game that happened last night, did you not?
Yeah, man. I don't know what to think of. As a newly refound basketball junkie, like I said, the past 4 March Madnesses I've been in Europe or in the hospital, as weird as that sounds. That's kind of where I've been. But and rewatching it again, I severely underestimated the Julius Caesar type murder plot for the mid-majors. Like, they want them gone, and they got what they wanted. And literally with this much talent going to all these bigger schools, it truly comes down to coaching 90% of the time. Last night, Annie Hurley was coaching his ass off. Michigan was just too talented. That is it. That is all. I mean, UConn couldn't. I mean, we had a bet on Braylon Mullins over 2.5 3-pointers at plus 134. We cashed that. And we took Cadeau over 11.5 points. I think he finished with 19. Terrace Reed did not get there for us. And we had UConn's team total over 68.5. They got to 63, but they couldn't hit shots. They couldn't hit shots. So it's just the tournament's not dead by any stretch of the imagination. The tournament, give me 1 second. My dog is trying to get a toy. But the tournament's not dead by any stretch of the imagination. It's just going to be bigger schools with better players, and it's not going to be a talent thing. It's going to come down to coaching, and the guys like the Danny Hurleys, the Dusty Mays, the guy at Iowa that's an absolute stud of a coach. The coach at New Mexico is great. Those guys with some NIL money, they're going to be your mid majors are now going to be, the West Coast schools you haven't heard of that are actually bigger schools. The New Mexicos, San Diego State's been around for a minute, but the big schools like that, the bigger schools are going to become your mid majors. High Point, Tennessee State, for all they did this year, that's well and good, but you're not. Sorry, man, you're not going to get there. That's the whole reason they started the CBC, which was nil money for the first four in, first four out. So I think Baylor ended up winning that, or Oklahoma. Can't remember which one. But I will say this: those kids were out there playing because it was either 300 or 400,000 going to the players, and the other half of that, I guess, went to the school, to their NIL fund if they won the tournament. So that's money in their pockets. So they were out there playing really hard. But that's going to be your landing spot for the mid majors going forward. I'm not saying next year or the year after that, but in the long run, it's just going to be a completely separate tournament where the big dance is going to be for the big boys.
Yep. No further comment. I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, it'll be interesting when we project next year when we're doing this. Like, again, looking at the amount of NIL money spent, where, obviously, like, where teams finish and stuff, like injuries can play a part. But yeah, how do you measure what makes a coach a great coach? And to your point, like, now you can pretty much assume, like I said in our last pod, like, I'm not going to bet against Danny Hurley. I mean, I like the guy, but I'm not going to bet against him until the foreseeable. And Dusty May, I think, is now on that list. And there's a handful of other guys who you mentioned. But yeah, how do you find a way to look at who those guys are, identify, making sure they have the investment, and then when we're talking this talk next year, ride those cows until the cows come home? Because High Point, a great story, and yes, they might be there again. Tennessee State might be there again. Who are the other schools that may step up? We don't know. I'm sure somebody will, but we're not going to know more until, obviously, the summer or the transfer portal thing plays out, and
Yeah.
obviously you get new freshmen in. There's going to be a whole lot of guys going pro, a whole lot of guys
Who's
graduating.
cutting checks, man?
Yeah,
It's who's cutting checks and who's where. And what I'm curious to find out from these guys are called bottom up betters, and they're the ones that come up with their lines against the Vegas line, and they're the ones that kind of move the market. I'm a top down better in that I see an inefficiency at a book that's priced wrong, and I take advantage of it after
right.
the line's already out. I'm not making my own fucking lines. My question is, how the fuck are you going to make some lines when you don't know who's playing where? And even if when you do know who's playing where, how do you power rate a team when you have no idea what their chemistry is?
Yeah.
You can know the coach all you fucking want, but if he's got players that can't run the system, I mean, you got to wait 10, 12 games into the season before you can do anything with that. If you're trying to make your own lines, it seems like it's going to make it really difficult for these guys that are making their own lines. I'm going to watch the market, which is how I've bet since I've started. A little bit of my own handicapping, along with making a model to see where things go, and then the eye test, and that's how I go about it. But these guys that are making their own lines to start the season, I truly don't understand. It's got to be tough. It's got to be
Yeah.
really, really tough.
Well, and I think we're probably seeing it in college college football a little bit as well. I don't think to the same degree, because obviously, to your point, more guys on the football field, than there are on the court. But yeah, it's the impact of NIL, man. It's here, and yeah, if
Money's
you're
crazy.
if you went to Florida Gulf Coast, I hope you enjoyed that one run they went on, because it ain't going to happen again unless you got some big booster who comes in and drops 20 million a year. You're not going to
Yeah,
do
you
it.
get a rando like Tennessee State. I don't know how the fuck they came up with all that money that they came up with, but one thing I am going to look at, like we talked about a couple episodes ago, is when looking to see which school in which of the smaller conferences spent the most money.
Yeah,
That's your telltale sign. Not that they're going to win the conference or anything like that, but pay attention to that, because those are the guys that are going to have the better players.
well, that is a wrap on college basketball for us for this year. No more dumpster
Deuces,
diving
goodbye college
for
basketball. God Almighty, I'm like, ugh,
Air
woof.
Force. You know what, Air Force? I can't wait to
You'll
see
be
you.
there for me. They'll
Yeah.
never let me down. Air Force, San Diego State, Mississippi Valley State, the Delta Devils, one of the best mascots in all of sports, by the way. They're going to be there for us next year, and I promise you, as soon as the season starts, we are riding that train, gentlemen. That we're cashing those already. Air Force, yeah, all of you. It's going to be great.
Well, we will cross that bridge when we come to it. And I think for now, what are we going to bet on a Tuesday afternoon evening as as the NBA is
Oh,
winding
goody
down?
gumdrops.
Yeah, what do you got, bro?
Goody gumdrops. So starting in about 30 minutes, it is ass cheeks cold in Cleveland, as it's supposed to be, considering it's 78 degrees here in Atlanta. We're gonna take no runs first inning for the Royals and Guardians, which we've been on a good run with no runs first inning. Also adding in yes runs first inning. Coors Field, just document this, is the gift that keeps on giving. In that, with the right teams, scoring in that first inning is automatic, as close to automatic as you're going to get. It's the past 3 games. If we've bet it, we've cashed it. But like I said, it's 37, 35 degrees in Cleveland right now with, I think, rain.
Nobody wants to be there.
Nobody wants to be there. This isn't baseball weather. So we're taking the first inning. No score, more baseball. White Sox, the shitty White Sox. We're taking them in the first 5 innings against the Orioles. I have no rhyme or reason to that. It's just one bad baseball team, one mediocre, potentially good baseball team trying to find their way in the Orioles. So with that being said, in the same game, we're going to take the over. We're going to take, yes, a first inning run against the Orioles White Sox. We're going to take the Diamondbacks on the money line. We're going to take the Reds no run first inning against the Marlins. Love the pitching matchup. We're taking the Mr. Misiorowski over 6.5 strikeouts. It is juicy. It is worth it. I think he mows down 8 to 9 guys.
Who are they playing?
Brewers. Yeah, it's Brewers Red Sox. So Red Sox are going to be aggressive with their bats, and it's Misiorowski against Crochet. It's going to be a pitcher's duel. There's going to be a shitload of strikeouts. One's going to try to outduel the other. Misiorowski will get 7 to 8. Crochet, who the fuck knows? He'll the guy's just great. So next one, A's Yankees. No runs first inning. Because Savale's pitching for the A's and he is a pitch to contact pitcher. So I think he'll get ground balls, at least for the first 3 outs, get out of there. Dodgers, Blue Jays, no runs first inning, pitching matchup, 2 good pitchers. Nobody's going to score in that first inning, ideally. Same thing for the Tigers and Twins. Twins suck, man. They're batting 204 as a team. Granted, we're only 8 or 9 games into the season. They're awful. Hot trash. Mariners, Rangers, no runs first inning. We're taking the shitty Rockies on the money line. Astros are throwing out a bullpen game. They're throwing out a bullpen lineup today. Kyle Freeland, how he still has a job, I don't understand. He's he's the luckiest pitcher in fucking baseball that I've ever seen. It's amazing that he still has a job. The guy sucks. But going up against a bullpen in that field, we're gonna take the Rockies at the plus money. Like, it's a value play. Can't pass up on it. Also, they're at Coors Field, so yeah. Run first inning, take that. And we're taking the Angels tonight against the Braves. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on it.
And then I'll run through our NBA right quick, because it's great for me because I can do all this stuff overnight and just get it out of the way instead of having to wait on line moves and stuff like that. I can kind of watch, and especially now that the NBA is coming down to the nitty gritty. So I'm going to start from the bottom up. At 11 o'clock tonight, we're taking KD, Kevin Durant, over 24.5 points. We're going to take SGA over 30.5 points. He just put up 42 against the same Lakers squad that had Reeves, that had Luka, that had LeBron. Now they are without those guys, and even if LeBron is there, he's got to focus so much on the offensive end and no Marcus Smart. More importantly, the most important part of that defense is Marcus Smart to guard SGA. He's not there. So, and on that note as well, we're taking the Thunder minus the 16.5. I know it's a big number. Don't be scared of it. Take it. Next up, we are taking the Hornets plus 5.5 against the Celtics. They beat them by 29 in TD Garden. Boston's locked into that number 2 seed. Hornets are still fighting for seeding to ideally only have to play 1 game in the play-in tournament, and then they're in. In the same game, on the same note, hopefully this guy's stepping up and being a leader, but over 19.5 points for LaMelo Ball. And this one's juicy as shit too. And all the sharp guys would tell me it's a bad bet at the juice I paid for it, but I don't care. Our rookie of the year, Mr. Khan Knipple, over 2.5 3-pointers. Just give it to me. Yeah, give it to me all day. I'm gonna take it every time I could. I could get greedy and ladder it up to 3.5 to 4.5 plus money. I'm just gonna take the 2.5 and go with it.
Yep, keep it moving.
Yep. And Ant-Man's still out in Minnesota, and Julius Randle's gone over this line in so many games. It's insane. It's not insane. It's not that many, but enough to warrant a bet today. But we're taking Julius Randle over 29.5 points and rebounds against the Indiana Pacers, who've been keeping every fucking game close, which is great. I wish they would have done this about 25 to 30 games ago and put Pascal Siakam back in the lineup, because they're keeping everything close, and these props are playable now for teams that are playing against the Pacers because they're keeping games close. Last night we had Donovan Mitchell over 27.5 points. The only concern was the blowout potential.
Right.
And somewhere in the third quarter, it was 82-80. It was fantastic because Spider had to go for 42 points. And the Cavs win. Still didn't cover, but the prop cashed. So teams that are actually trying, it makes it worthwhile. But the way it looks right now, the only team that's really trying, Brooklyn's kind of trying, but they're just, yeah. But the Pacers are giving it a go. The Bulls were, and then they just shut Josh Giddey down because the boy was averaging a triple-double for the month of March, and then all of a sudden now he's got a hammy. So they're just shutting him down. It's all, all playing draft picks, and then the other teams are all playing the seeding game. Boston is good at the 2. The Cavs would like to be at the 3, but I don't think they can catch the Knicks. Hornets need what they need. Eastern Conference is a shit show. Our bet on the Spurs, we might be sitting pretty, brother. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to talk about it, but we'll revisit all of these because we've got some futures that are looking mighty bright.
Totally agree with you on that.
And I think that's it for today, yo.
No hockey, no highlight, no underwater basket weaving.
Hockey's gotten to the. I follow a guy who does highlight, and I don't have access to it. That's sad that I know that. Fuck me. Jesus H Christ, dude.
You didn't even have to
talk about it.
Oh no, I know a guy. Like
no, I do. I know a fucking guy, and he puts out about 2 highlight bets a week. There's a guy over at Wager Talk. There's a darts guy and a lacrosse guy.
I don't hate the darts thing, but you and I are not nearly English enough to dive into that.
No. Hell no. Not a what? Darts. But hockey is to the point where.
Do we pick it up for the Stanley Cup playoffs?
100%. I just honestly, all bullshit aside, I was gonna dive into hockey. I didn't because I don't think there's a lot of matches today. And even when I dove in yesterday and ran through, son of a bitch, there's quite a few games today. Well, maybe I'll throw up a short with some hockey shit. But there's a bunch of matches yesterday, and like running through my little hockey model, it spit out 1 game, and I was just like, I'm good. Yeah, national championships on, baseball's on. So NRFI, our no runs first inning has hit a little bit of variance. We're still up on the year on that, so it's still worth tailing, and the odds on Profit X are phenomenal. So you're not paying minus 120 or 25 or 30. You're getting minus 110, sometimes plus odds. Hitting at that, most people with NRFIs, you need to hit around 55 to 60, or not higher than 55. You need to hit 65% based on the square books juice. But if you have a really sharp book that's giving you decent odds at minus 110 or better, you can hit at that 52, 50, or 53% range and throw in a few plus price ones. I mean, you can hit 51, 52% and make a lot of money over a 162 game season. Baseball's going to be good this year. I'm not going to be those guys, and you have no idea about this, but this is what happens every year. The people on Twitter and stuff who sell their picks and whatnot, they'll have a shit March Madness, or they'll just be on a bad run, and God forbid if baseball's around the corner. Listen, guys, baseball is my best sport. I do so well in baseball. Man, fuck that. Baseball is boring. It's long. It's a grind. There's a reason I do first fives. There's a reason I do first inning. And there's a reason we only bet underdogs. Because baseball is fucking boring. And that's just a fact.
There you have it.
You there? You froze up on me.
No, I'm here. I'm still here. So cool. Hopefully, I'm still here. Please don't hang up on me so I can tell everybody goodbye. But
no, not at all. Not at all. I was just waiting until you started moving again.
Yeah, that's my wife says the same thing. Anywho, well, appreciate everybody joining us. What? I don't know. We did this too early in the day. I haven't eaten. I can't say anything about any of that. I'm just gonna leave it the fuck alone. Anyway, it's gonna be fascinating to see how the Champions League plays out. I'm gonna be excited to learn more from our resident golf expert regarding what our thoughts are for the tournament kicking off in a couple of days. I hope all your baseball bets. Now I use NRFI in a conversation like people know what the fuck it is, and
I know. God, man, people like the lingo that people don't know what the fuck we're talking about half the time. NRFI, guys, no run first inning in baseball. YRFI, yes, run first inning in baseball. And also, I probably need to come up with questions for our golf guy because, yeah, I don't want to let him wing it. He's not smart enough to wing it.
Yeah, that's wow. Okay, well, I'll let your personal attacks remain between
Personal?
the two of you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm choosing violence with this guy. You're gonna see in this interview tonight. I'm asking the hard hitting questions. I'm about to Barbara Walters his ass. Wait.
Make sure your vest is also puffy, and make sure you are. Yeah. We need a wardrobe change.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm wearing the vest because he's coming over to the house too. Yeah. I'm definitely wearing a vest. Absolutely. We'll do it in the other living room. Yeah. It's gonna be weird.
Make it as weird as you can. Like
should I feed him booze? I should probably feed him booze and get him loose, huh?
I assume he's already having it. Knowing him, he's
he's working right now. That's why he couldn't do this with so it'd be three of us working allegedly.
No, this is his wet dream is to sit down on a couch with you on camera and talk about golf. So I expect like make sure you dim the lights, light a few candles.
I'm doing all of this. Any more I swear to God, you think I'm fucking joking. I'm doing all of this.
This is happening. AI smooth jazz in the background. Like the way you recorded your first video where like the camera was very far away. Like,
yeah, I look like I was a fucking hostage. Yeah. Like, please don't kill my family and give them the money, please.
That's 100%.
Sorry, locking in the Champions League bet. Hey guys, like I always say, if bet makes you sweat, you're not fucking doing it right. This is supposed to be fun. It's a part-time hustle. We're not pros. We're moderately sharp, about as edgy as a frisbee. Keep it easy. Keep it affordable. Keep it within your means and make it fun. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. I am the degenerative stoner path of this podcast. He's a smart guy.
That is, I don't even know how to follow that, so I'm not going to try to. Thank you again for joining us, everybody. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Get your mama, your baby mama, your grandmama, everybody's mama on there. Let's do this damn thing. Once again, I'm Chris. Maya to the window. Bye.
Let's go to the window.